How we doing down here? Looks like we keep getting bigger and bigger. That's good. Oh, we're out of water, so we'll get you some more water. Alrighty. Man, you guys must have been hungry. Been eating some feed too. Need some more? And here's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have some apple cider vinegar, organic, that we'll be adding to their water. I don't do this every time, just because it wouldn't be what they would do naturally. But it can be a really good thing to boost the health of your animals and for you. So I used to drink it every morning. A little bit more than that though. Just clean out their water, add some water to it, and some apple cider vinegar to it as well. You typically do about 5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar per gallon of water. I'm just eyeballing. Guess they were thirsty. But ducks are almost always thirsty. So that's it. Just a few minutes. That wasn't even, I don't know, 5 minutes I think that it took to do those chores. Somebody asked me on Instagram, they talked about seeing how cute the chicks are and ducklings are, and that they want to raise some themselves. I'm like, go for it. And they're like, oh, I really don't have the time. It only takes about, as you can see here, this was less than 5-10 minutes at the most. So it doesn't take really long at all. Well, done with them for a while. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
What we got there? Some new homeschool workbooks?
Yep.
History and learning about, where's this at? Mexico?
No.
Where's that at?
It is in Egypt.
Oh, great. Ancient Egypt and ancient history. All right, so we got a number of things that we're going to do today. But one of the main things we're going to do first is we're going to harvest peppers, and then we're going to be preserving them. So need everybody to help me out. Everybody with me?
Yep.
Micah, are you with me? Or are you in another planet over there?
On
another planet?
No.
What you doing there? You're not sure?
I'm doing this.
What is that exactly? Looks like, reminds me when I was a kid, Light Bright.
That's what it is.
So like a mini version of Light Bright?
Yeah, we just don't put any batteries in it.
I want you a battery.
Uh-oh, she revealed the secret.
Exactly.
I used to have a Light Bright and had a jingle. It'd be like, Light Bright, turn on the magic and shine the light. Does Molly remember that?
I remember that commercial, but it didn't sound exactly like that.
It's close, right?
Yeah, about 3 miles close.
Selah's the musical one in this family.
I never said I was musically inclined, but I did. That is how the song goes.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm gonna wash my hands, and then we're gonna get on these peppers. Pepper time. Get twisted. Alrighty, so we have a ton of peppers that need to be harvested. We have a variety of peppers that we're growing here too. So right here, Lacie is harvesting. Which one is that?
These are the ahi charapita, I do believe. These are what I call Tiny but mighty.
Yep, those have some heat to them.
Yes.
And what do we have right here?
So those are Bikinios. We have a couple different plants of these. So they look like they have a little beak, but they're called Bikinio. Very, very mild, not much heat at all, but lots and lots of flavor. I really like these to add in them to all kinds of stuff. Tomatoes, onions, and put that on pasta. So good.
I really like that one as well. It's like a sweet, mild, spicy. It's just like perfect.
Yeah.
And really, really like that one. What else we got here?
Okay, moving on. We have lemon drop peppers. So they are green to begin with, and then they turn this bright yellow, hence the name lemon drop. These are pretty hot too. Mike likes to eat these. So here, you want that one then?
Sure. I haven't got my daily dose of capsaicin today, so. Whoa! What else we got?
So right here we have a Chinese 5-color pepper. So you're gonna get 5 different colors off of just one plant. And they are super pretty. They start out this beautiful purple color, and they just move on through, and you pick them, and some are gonna be red and some are gonna be orange and yellow. They're just so pretty.
There's some Chinese 5-color right in here.
There sure is, buddy. And these got pretty big.
These are Bikinio peppers as well. And this bush started off about like half this size. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a little small bush. But, you know, it's October right now, and this thing just keeps on going. It keeps flowering. It's almost doubled in size. And, you know, for me, that's a good thing because I really, really like these peppers.
In addition to this 25-foot row of peppers here, we also have more. We actually have another row that is double this size that it's producing even more. In that row, we have Murasaki Peppers. They're purple peppers, which they're not hot, but we have a bunch of them. It's pretty loaded down. With all these peppers that we have, kind of reminds me of being at Baker Creek. We actually got a number of these varieties from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed, but it reminds me of actually the Heirloom Expo when they had all of them laid out on the different tables, and it was just so neat to see all the beautiful colors. So do all these peppers remind you a little bit about the Heirloom Expo?
It really does. It was wonderful seeing all the different varieties of different vegetables and fruits laying out on the tables when we were there. And it's nice to just experience something a little different.
All right, well, I think we should break up into teams. I'm gonna take somebody over there with me to harvest the Murasaki peppers. Who wants to join me?
Oops, not me.
Not you? Josiah? You'll join me. Whew, I thought I was gonna have like nobody. All right, so let's go, buddy. Whew. I don't know if it's getting hot out here or was it the pepper that ate. But this has got to come off. Check out these Murasaki peppers right here. They are absolutely loaded with peppers. So Josiah and I have a lot to harvest here. I just think it's kind of unfair. What do you think? Since we have so much, we have a lot less than we do, but we're gonna get it done, right? Or are you gonna eat them all? We're gonna harvest them too, right? Mm-hmm. We're supposed to harvest, then eat. And one thing about the Murasaki peppers, they are a purple pepper, but they'll actually turn, let's see here, they'll actually turn red. And when they turn red, they're actually sweeter. These peppers have gotten to be so big, it feels like we're in the jungle right here as we're harvesting. It's just kind of cool. You in the jungle over there, Josiah?
Yep.
What you got there?
I got a bigger one in the wall.
There you go. Put it on in there. Good job. We're making progress, fellas. How's it going over there, ladies?
It's
Micah was on their team, but they traded you, didn't they? Actually, they didn't trade you. They cut you. So you got to be over here helping us out. You help the guys out over here. Alrighty. Who do you think's gonna harvest more, Josiah, them or us?
Us.
We are. And we are finished. Way to go, man. Good job helping there. We've done this whole row of peppers here. Now it's time to preserve them all. Woo. Just a little heavy.
How much does that weigh one time?
Alrighty, now that we have the peppers harvested, now is time to preserve them. And we're going to be doing 4 different methods of preserving our peppers today. We're going to be dry hanging them, we're going to be freezing them, we're going to be dehydrating them, and we're going to be fermenting them. So what do you have in store for us to start off with the drying process, the hang drying?
We're going to get Selah and Josiah to string them up on some string. This is actually a wax string, so it's a little stronger. And so I have a needle and string, and I actually put a little bead at this end so that it didn't go off, because, you know, a knot normally isn't just enough. So I just put something there to keep them from falling off.
All right, pepper people, are we ready to preserve some peppers?
Yeah!
All right.
All
Let
you
it
do
through the stem.
is take your needle. You don't go through the stem. I like going down, well, just right under the stem, but through the pepper. You just go right like that and pull it through. There you go.
And then you just keep adding peppers to that?
Yep.
All right, see what we can
You hand me
do.
the peppers?
You can take turns back and forth.
Right here.
Yep, straight through. Yep. Pull it out. That's okay. Just work it a little bit. See?
It's a necklace.
You're gonna make a pepper necklace?
A pepper necklace.
Size.
Come on, Josiah, you can do it. Poke it in there.
Wait. Got it.
Got it through. Alrighty, so you got yours done?
Mm-hmm.
Both of you do. Fantastic. So, alright, now that they are strung, what do they do with them next?
Well, what you need to do is you find a nice place that you can hang them up. And you may even want to take and run this through the bottom of a paper bag to go over them so they don't get dusty, because I have hung some that got all dusty as they were drying. But somewhere that's going to be warm, out of direct sunlight, and you just let them dry until they're totally dry.
Indoors or in a greenhouse or?
I would probably do it indoors somewhere. Our greenhouse, our hoop house, it has condensation that drops down on the inside sometimes. So you don't want them to get wet. You want them in a dry environment.
Alrighty, so we'll get those hung up, but next we're going to move on to cutting up our peppers, because we have to cut them up to freeze them, to ferment them, and to dehydrate them. So we got a lot of chopping to do.
So this is what I want you to do. You're going to take your pepper, you're going to put your knife into the pepper and go straight down, Josiah.
Okay.
And then you're going to cut your top off like that. And see the seeds? You just take them out just like this. Run your finger down through there. And then throw them in there. Okay?
Okay.
There you go.
Looks like you have that already, Selah.
Yep.
You've done this a few times before, haven't you?
Yes.
So the kids are working on the Murasaki peppers, which aren't hot, which aren't spicy at all. But Lacie and I are going to work on the spicy ones, and I'm actually going to wear a glove on this hand because I actually have a cut right there, and I don't want any of the hotness getting in there and burning, because it will burn. And then whenever you're working with hot peppers, you also want to be mindful not to touch your face after you've got done handling them, because that's not fun either, because I've had that happen to me before. It actually happened when we were at Baker Creek in Missouri. I was touching some of the Chinese 5-color peppers, and then it just happened to touch my face, and then yeah, I was like getting all teared up, and yeah, just don't do that.
Selah can tell everybody don't do that either, because she did that the other day when she was cooking.
That happened to you?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was really bad. My eyes were watering. Just don't do it again. My eyes are already starting to water.
Your eyes are starting to water already? You're not even doing anything with them?
You're not doing the
Wow.
hot peppers.
I know.
So your brain is just messing with you and just making you cry, and you're not even doing anything. Alright, so for the hot peppers, are they pretty much done the same way as the non-hot peppers?
Yeah, you can string them up the same way if you want to and dehydrate them like that. You know, I don't know if I'm going to take the seeds out of them. I may just cut them in half and put them in the dehydrator that way. And then for fermenting them, I am going to cut them up and put them in the jars. I may take the seeds out, I may not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
So we got some work to do.
Okay, y'all have done a great job over here with these purple peppers. So Josiah's working on the end of this one, and we have 2 other bowls full. So Selah, what I want you to do is I want you to take this tray and I want you to pour out in 1 layer these peppers on that tray.
Yes, ma'am.
So these peppers are going to be ones that we're going to freeze. So after you slice them to whatever size that you want them to be, next you put them on a baking sheet and you put them in the freezer for at least 12 hours. After that, then we'll put them into some freezer safe Ziploc bags. Alright, so we're done slicing up our peppers, and let me say, we have quite the mess here. We'll clean up here in just a little bit. But now that they're sliced up, next we can move on to dehydrating the peppers next. And how are we going to do that, Lacie?
Well, I mean, you can do them whole. You can cut them up. You just cut some of these hot ones up, and I think we're just going to cut them in half and lay them out all on our dehydrator, and making sure they have room in between so air can flow, and then we'll just turn the dehydrator on.
Alright, so all of our trays are now full for the dehydrator. We also have peppers here on our baking sheet to be ready to put into the freezer, as well as peppers strung up to be air dried. And lastly, we're going to be fermenting some peppers. So peppers everywhere.
Lots of hot peppers. Lots of hot peppers.
And for our peppers that we're going to ferment here, we're going to be using Redmond salt. And it is a really quality salt. And salt is so good for us. Our bodies are naturally salty anyways. And all of us should try to get at least 1.5 teaspoons of salt per day. Actually, back in the day, people on average used to get 3 teaspoons of salt each day. And there's no evidence that they had any issues with heart disease and things like that. Because salt is good for our muscle function, our cellular function. It helps
neurological functions.
Neurological function. Actually, it helps our bodies to fight parasites and things like that too. So salt is good for us. And civilizations had to have salt to be a civilization. People need salt.
Yeah, and you want to make sure it's good salt, not iodized table salt. This is Redmond salt. Is from ancient seabeds. It has minerals in it too, and that's what a lot of salt is lacking now. So you want to make sure you are using a high quality salt. So no iodized table salt. It's really bad for you. It actually contains aluminum along with other things, anti-caking agents and things like that are not good for you.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Tom Cohen, when he has clients who are dealing with high blood pressure, one of the things that he does is he takes them off of refined salt, which has aluminum like Lacie was talking about, and puts them on a diet with real salt. So something to keep in mind. So we're going to be using our salt here for fermenting. And what are we doing here?
So here we have our hot peppers. I want to make some hot sauce, so that's why I wanted a bunch. And well, these aren't hot peppers, but these two are. So we're gonna make a brine, and we're gonna pour a brine over our peppers, and we're going to use one of my fermenting lids. Here are the fermenting lids that I have. I have a few of these. They're really easy. It makes fermenting so much easier, but you don't need these to ferment. But for me, it just makes life so much easier, and then they're not that expensive either. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a brine. Our brine is going to be between 1 and 3 tablespoons of salt into 1 quart of water. So I believe that was about 2.5 tablespoons. And now I'm going to put some warm water in here to make sure it's all dissolved, and then cooler water on top, just so it's not hot. We don't want to cook our peppers. Okay, put my water in here. I'm just going to shake it up to make sure all of my salt is dissolved. So it looks like it is. But see, you're going to have little bits whenever you're using real salt. You're going to have some of those minerals down there in the bottom that you'll be able to see. Just pour it in. I'll probably have to make some more. Yep. You always want to make sure all of whatever you're fermenting is below the water line, the brine line. So what I'm doing is I'm adding my weight in here to make sure it all stays below. And these that float up, I'll just take those out because they would end up molding at the top.
And is that the purpose of the weight, to make sure things stay down in the water?
Yes.
So that things don't mold?
Yes, and they used to use, long ago, they would use rocks with cabbage leaves to hold things, keep things submerged underneath the brine. So, nothing new. Another thing you want to make sure is you want to get the air bubbles out of your ferments, because you don't want any air down in there. You don't want your ferment to rot and then you have to throw it out. So, just like to push it around to get the air out. Okay, now we are ready to put our lids on. I really like these because they have like a date. You can move this little thing so you know exactly what date that you started them on. There we go. We're all done. Our peppers are ready to sit up on the counter out of direct sunlight and ferment until my heart's desire. So peppers you want to ferment at least 3 weeks from what I understand. And the longer the better. You'll develop more flavor in them. So I'm going to let these probably go at least a month, and then we'll kind of see where they are. And since they're on my counter, I'll be able to keep an eye on them to make sure that they're fermenting properly. And this is lacto fermentation. And one really neat thing that I learned from Art and Bree, their channel, Art and Bree, they have a fermenting class that I have been taking, and they go through the history of fermentation and where it's from and who all kind of people use it, but also the safety aspects. Fermenting the harvest and keeping your harvest this way is actually much safer than even canning. Lactofermentation reduces the pH of your brine. So then it will kill all that other bacteria. It'll kill E. coli, it'll kill botulism. So you don't have to worry about getting any of that whenever you're doing your ferments, as long as it's working properly. And if it's bubbling, it's working properly.
So we have the opportunity to see a beta version of this course, but they're going to do a full release here coming up really soon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And speaking of other information, Redmond is giving all of you guys 15% off any of their products. So we'll leave the information for them in the show notes below, and you can get any of the Redmond products at a 15% discount. Well, we're gonna get these peppers in the freezer. These going in the dehydrator, and these sitting up on the counter.
That's right.
So we got a lot of peppers, and you know what? We still have more to work on right here. So we'll have to see you next time.